This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Tuesday, August 3. In Squiz Kids Today, lockdowns, jabs and Bertie the Beetle. Our Olympic hero from Sudan. Pizza for vaccines in Britain, and not one but two baby pandas. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
And it's at least 4 more days of homeschooling for hundreds of thousands of kids in southeast Queensland after the number of new COVID cases in the community there climbed to 13. 10 of those cases were children under the age of 10, as the Delta variant began its dastardly work in the Sunshine State, starting in a primary school in Brisbane. It means southeast Queensland will remain in lockdown now until Sunday afternoon, by which time it's hoped the outbreak will be brought under control. It's also meant the cancellation of Brizzy's annual agricultural show, the Ekka, for the second year in a row. No Bertie Beetle show bags again, I'm afraid. How much crueler can this COVID get? Of course, down in Sydney, new cases of COVID reached 207 yesterday as the city entered yet another week of lockdown. It's now been over a month. We feel for you, Sydney. Meanwhile, the Australian government announced yesterday that some kids, aged 12 to 15, will soon be able to receive a COVID vaccine. At the moment, it's just kids in that age group who have particular health problems that makes them more vulnerable to illness than most. Because that's how we roll. First, we look after the members of our crew who need it most. Then, we sort out the rest of us later.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Britain, where, speaking of vaccines, the government is trying to entice young people to get vaccinated against COVID by offering them pizza. This kind of approach is called using the carrot instead of the stick, and it comes from the idea that the best way to get a donkey to move isn't to hit it with a stick, but rather to dangle a delicious carrot just in front of it so it keeps walking wherever you want it to go. $10 says you've encountered this very same tactic before. If you've ever heard your parents say, "I'll ground you for a week if you don't tidy your room," that's using the stick. If they say, "We'll have your favourite dessert if your room is nice and tidy by dinner time," then that's the carrot. Governments all over the world have experimented with COVID jab carrots. In Moscow, for example, 5 cars have been given away in a raffle each week. In Romania, jabs come with barbecued sausage sandwiches. Israel's offering free beer. Malaysia, desserts. In a farming village in the Philippines, the mayor is even raffling off a cow. And different American states have held lotteries for the vaccinated, with California planning to give away $116 million. Now that would buy a lot of carrots. Or pizza.
Sport time.
These Olympics just keep on giving. So many excellent moments to pull apart from events in Tokyo. Here are a couple of our most recent favourites. Did you see Dutch runner Sifan Hassan's incredible effort in the 1500-metre semi-finals yesterday? Towards the back of the pack and with 1 lap to go, the runner in front of her tripped and knocked Sifan to the ground. She picked herself up and with Olympic determination ran past every other racer to cross the finish line first. The living definition of picking yourself up, dusting yourself off and carrying on. There's video of the race in today's episode notes. And speaking of Olympian efforts, can we all just stop for a moment and give a great big Squiz Kids salute to Peter Bol, the Aussie runner who won his semi-final in the 800-metre race on Sunday night. Peter came to Australia as a 4-year-old kid from a country called Sudan in Africa, which has been torn apart by war in recent years. His parents moved to Perth to try to build a better future for their kids. When Peter ran in a school athletics carnival many years ago, his teachers couldn't believe their eyes. Years of training hard, and he's now at the Olympics, proudly wearing the green and gold, and a really good chance for a medal. He'll run in the final late tomorrow night. If you ask nicely, maybe your parents will let you stay up for it.
Animal Kingdom.
Here's a question. What's cuter than a baby panda? Well, 2 baby pandas, that's what. Because that's what happened at a Paris zoo yesterday when Juan the giant panda gave birth to twins. It's really hard to get pandas to have babies anywhere, in the wild or in a zoo. So the celebrations when twins were born at Beauval Zoo on the outskirts of Paris could be heard all the way to the top of the Eiffel Tower. The babies, which are also called cubs, were described by zoo staff as pink and plump, which is just what you want a panda cub to be. Pandas were considered an endangered species, but their numbers in the wild have slowly crept back up in recent years, which is excellent news. And now there are 2 more in the world. Hooray for that. I've stuck a link in today's episode notes to photos of the pink, plump new arrivals.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What super excellent foodstuff is the British government using as a carrot to entice young people there to get vaccinated? That's right, it's pizza. Question number 2. Aussie runner Peter Boll will contest the final tomorrow night in a race over how many metres? Yeah, it's the 800-metre final. Question number 3. In which city in Europe has Juan the giant panda just given birth to twins? That's right, it's Paris.
Shout-outs.
It's August 3, birthday of all-black Sonny Bill Williams and NFL legend Tom Brady. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Tayana and Liberty from Shoal Bay, Matilda from Goomalling, Audrey from Toowoomba, Noah from Maroubra, Belle from Abbotsford, Sophie from Springwood, Archer from Paddington, Harmony from the Blue Mountains, Lucas from Sydney, Luke from Wollongong, and Luke from West Wollongong. Belated birthday shout-outs too go out to Jensen from Henley and Amelia from Stanmore. Plus, because our friends in Greater Sydney and South East Queensland are in lockdown at the moment, we're sending out home learning herograms to all the Year 5-6 classes and all the 3-4 classes at Abbotsford Public School. To the Year 5s and Mrs. Rowland at Panania Public School, who are working so hard with homeschooling, from your classmate Charlotte. To all of Year 2 at St Charles Primary School in Ryde. And finally, a herogram to Claire, Jono and Rose from Campbelltown, who are awesome at staying on task, while their mum Liz also teaches remotely at home. Plus, a couple of classroom shout-outs to those of you not in lockdown around the country. To Grade 6 Yellow at Catherine Macaulay Catholic Primary School in Orange. To Mr. Aussie and Grade 2O from the Basin Primary School in Victoria. And to Miss Rangeloff's 3-4T class at Antonio Park Primary School in Mitcham. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout-out, or if you're after a classroom shout-out, or if you'd like to send a home learning herogram to your class or your kids, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out. Squiz Kids is proudly supported by the Judith Neilson Institute for Journalism and Ideas.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.